Hi, everyone, and welcome to Consciousness is Sexy. I'm your host, Patty Alfonso, and our topic today is, are you creating or decaying your future? Gosh, there's so much to play with around this particular topic. And in Access Consciousness, I'm an Access Consciousness certified facilitator, in case you didn't know that. In Access Consciousness, we talk a lot about choice and how when you choose something, it actually creates an energy and it opens the doors to possibilities. And for a long time in Access, we've been asking the question, if I choose this, what will my life be like in 5 years? If I choose this, what will my life be like in 10 years, in 20 years, in 30 years, in 50 years? To get the energy of what that choice is actually going to create for you and for your future. And recently, I have no sense of time at the moment, so I don't know how recently, but recently the question has changed a little bit. And we are, Gary and Dane and all of us are playing with the question of, will this choice create my future, or will this choice decay my future? Now, if you're familiar with the tools of Access Consciousness, then you know what I'm talking about, like asking questions. But for those of you in the future who may not be familiar, we ask questions in Access Consciousness to get the energy of something. And when it is light and expansive, then that is what is true for you, and you should go in that direction. And if it's heavy or a contraction, then, it's not true for you. So maybe don't choose that. Choice creates in that area as well. There's been a lot of times where I have chosen things that are not heavy. And then I was like, it was heavy. I just wanted to choose what I wanted to choose based on my mind instead of following the energy. So that's also a tool that everyone can play with every once in a while. What is light for you? What is heavy for you? How does that show up in your body? How does that show up in your awareness? But today I want to talk about whether the choice is a creation or a destruction is a word that I want to use. And then we've been playing in Access with the word decay. And I recently, if you've been with me since the beginning on Consciousness is Sexy, I've talked a lot about my choice to be here in Florida and my choice to stay at a friend's house for an extended amount of time. And at first, the choice, first of all, it wasn't something that I ever thought would be light. I didn't really think that Florida was my favorite place in the world. And I was following the energy and it was light. And so I came here and I was staying with my friend. And when I got here, like all of a sudden, all of this sort of creative energies showed up. It turned out that I had a lot of friends here that were also in Access Consciousness. So I had places to go to trade body processes and get my bars run and do all of that. And if you're not familiar with Access Consciousness, you can go to accessconsciousness.com and get more information. But anyway, back to my cute little story. And so as the time progressed, I started creating and I started getting a lot of things together, and staying with my friend was really light and expansive and it was great. And then as time progressed, things started to change. And for a while, my question, or my conclusion, actually, my decision, we'll talk about that in a minute, was that if I could be me with this particular friend of mine, that I could be me with anyone, because this is a long-standing, friendship, and it's always been a little bit challenging. And I thought, using the operative word, if I can be here and stay here and still be me and continue to create and all that, then I can do this anywhere in the world. And so at first, it was working out that way. And, I was like, I'm being me and I'm creating and this is great and this is awesome. And then again, like things started to change and shift. And this person wasn't, what are the words here? Wow, what are the words to describe what transpired during that time? Slowly, okay, cool, thank you. So slowly, like this space of me being started like getting smaller and smaller. And I've talked about, you know, when I was growing up and how I had to like shove myself into a box in order to be around certain people and all of that. And those were choices that I made. And then it as I perceive the energy now, kind of looking back at that, it was like very, very sneakishly and slowly, this friend would like, you know, make a rule or set a boundary. And every time like that box was kind of closing in on me. And at first I didn't really actually notice it. I kind of thought like, oh, well, you know, I want to honor this person and I want to honor their space and I want to, you know, be kind and be caring and all of that. Then all of a sudden, I literally found myself confined to my room. Like I couldn't have friends over. Like these were just, you know, requests by the person that I was staying with. I couldn't have friends over. They weren't comfortable with the tools of access consciousness. So I couldn't, you know, do this show where I had been doing it originally. And so like all of these sort of requests and rules all of a sudden became this tiny little box. And I was literally confined to my room. And then this question came up in access around, you know, what are you choosing? Is it creating your future or is it a decay of your future? And I asked it and I got the energy right away. I got the energy of it, that it was a decay of my future. And then I started asking questions about that and kind of like, it's like I was so busy creating and doing my thing and that I hadn't really like cognitively noticed what had happened. But when I asked that question and I got the energy that it was a decay of my future, it kind of like popped me out of that sort of, maybe it was an autopilot that I was on, or just like, I got caught up in the doing of everything and not the asking questions and being really, really, really aggressively present with every energy. And I talk a lot about that on this show. So, you know, lesson for me. Anyway, so then I started looking and then I was like, oh shit, like I am literally confined to my room. You know, this is, and then I started looking at and asking questions about how that was affecting my business. And then I realized that I had stopped creating Consciousness is Sexy because I didn't want to do it in a little tiny little box in the room. And there were certain things, all of a sudden there were certain topics that I couldn't talk about. I couldn't, you know, talk about my everyday experiences, and I couldn't bring other things in. Like there were rules even about what I could talk about on the show or not, which, you know, if you're anything like me, you don't really like rules and you don't really follow the rules and you're really more of a rule breaker and you don't really like to be told what to do. So anyway, then I just noticed that I had really shrunk down my creations to fit into this little box as well, which wasn't actually creating anything. And the moment I got that energy, I was like, I need to go now. And this was a choice that I made in between trips. I had gone to the X-Men class in Houston, and when I returned from that class and I was there, I got this sense of having to go like right now. And in 2 days, I was actually leaving to go to New York for a Symphony of Possibilities class with Dr. Dane here. And so I had 2 days to see clients, continue creating my classes. I was facilitating a class at the time. I had to pack all my stuff up. I had to find a new place to live. I had to like find a storage. I had to get a car, like all this stuff, right? Once I made that choice of like, okay, I got to go now. I got the like sort of awareness and energy and just the download, if you would say, of everything that I was going to have to do to create this. And then I was like, oh my God, oh, that's a lot of stuff. Oh shit. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna ask another question. So what energy, space, and consciousness can me and my body be for all of this to come to fruition with total ease? And within 2 days, all that stuff that I mentioned, I was able to create it and have it, you know, with total ease, joy, and glory. Like I was actually really, really amazed. And it really gave me that sense of the universe having my back. And that sort of, reconfirmation that when you follow the energy beyond what you think, it will always show up and be created greater than anything you could have imagined. Now, a few months before this, I had made another, there was some stuff going on, and I was like, I really got to get out of here. Oh God, I really got to get out of here. What's it going to take? And then I did get that download of everything that it was going to create. And it was too much work. I didn't have time. I made up all of these excuses to not follow the energy. And then I ended up sticking myself for another few months where I continued to shrink myself and shrink myself. So when it came up again, I was like, okay, this time I'm choosing it. I'm going for it. And so in asking that question, what energy, space, and consciousness can me and my body be for all of this to come to fruition with total ease? Literally within 24 hours, I had found a new apartment. I came over to my friend Rihanna's house, and I was hanging out with her that night, and I had told her what was going on, and she was like, well, my next door apartment, there's an apartment next door to me, and that's available. And I was like, what? Okay. And so found an apartment, got the car, found storage, packed up all my stuff, was able to still see all of my clients and be and do everything that I needed to do. And so this question, is this choice going to create my future or decay my future, has totally changed so much about, how I ask questions and how I perceive and look at things in terms of creating, not only for my life personally, but in my business as well. And sometimes, my friends, I just want to remind you that the choice may not always make any kind of logical sense. It did not make logical sense for me to do all of that in 2 days, in between trips and in between all that stuff. And in following the energy, it got created really fast and really easy. Earlier this year, I did a class called Choice Creates, because it's actually one of my favorite topics. And a lot of us are sometimes stopped or held back because we think that we have to have all of our ducks in order before we choose something. And I was talking with a client today, I think it was today, maybe yesterday, earlier, 10,000 years ago, about this very thing, about how in this reality, we're taught to try to figure everything out before we choose something, when in real creative chaos, possibilities, joy, expansive reality, you have to choose something in order to get the possibilities and in order to create it, and in order to get the energy of what that is going to create. And sometimes you choose something and the energy changes and it's no longer light or heavy. So that's like the difference between making a choice and then making a decision. So just perceive the energy of that for a minute. Like, okay, what can I choose today? Like, what am I going to choose about the energy of those questions, rather than I have to decide. I have to decide what I'm going to do. I have to decide what I'm going to do. So which one of those two is lighter and more expansive for you? The thing about choice for me, and we do learn this in Access Consciousness, is to live your life in 10-second increments. If you had 10 seconds to live the rest of your life, what would you choose? And then those 10 seconds are up. Now what would you choose? And those 10 seconds are up. Now what would you choose? So every time you choose something, it creates something. And then you perceive that energy. Is this still light? Is it light? Is it heavy? Is it heavy? Okay, what else can I choose? Light? Okay, cool. Now what? Now what else is possible? Now what else is available? And it's funny because we're also not really taught that we have choice. I was talking to a friend about another, thing. Ooh, I'm wobbling. About another thing. And she kept saying to me, well, that isn't your choice. That isn't your choice. And a long time ago, I would have been like, you're right. It's not my choice. I just have to go by what this other person is doing or being. It's really their choice. And I thought, no, I have choice in everything, which was actually like, I said it with such like demand in my universe. And I had to acknowledge that I actually really, truly, truly believe that. Like, I know that you always have choices available. Always, 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 always. The what's that word? There's just always choice available. You're never stuck, ever. It's all about asking questions and opening up to other possibilities. And the easiest questions, how does it get better? How does it get any better than this? And what else is possible? So there's always, always choice available. And when you are choosing things that are actually a decay of your future, then what is that creating? And what would it be like if you could continuously choose things that are actually going to create the future that you desire to create? And always being in the question, like I said, when I got to my friend's place and the choice to be there and go to Florida, it was light. It was light at the moment, and then it changed. Then I allowed myself the space to make a different choice. And when it was light and expansive and I got that awareness, then choosing it. So anyway, how does it get better than that? That's kind of like my little story spiel example on when choices create something and when choices decay something. So you got to look at what is it that I desire to create right here. And if it's not easy, if it's hard, if you're struggling, if there's a lot of like whatever, then ask a different question and make a different choice and see what it is that you can change. Because the truth point, my interesting point of view, the truth is that this earth that we live on is full of possibilities. And I didn't always believe that, right? And maybe that'll be a different show about what I discovered about that. But anyway, this earth, and if we look at nature, for example, always growing, always changing. Nature and this earth is willing to be or do whatever is required to, take care of her, right? Meaning the earth. If an earthquake is required to kind of shake things up and wake people up, she'll do it. If a thunderstorm is required to clear energy or clear whatever, she'll do it. I remember one time, a long time ago, I had a friend in Los Angeles, and they had this beautiful, house in this yard, and they never watered the yard. So the grass was totally brown, like the whole time that I knew them, right? And then, all of a sudden they decided, like you would have thought that grass is dead, it's gone, it's done. But then they decided to start watering the yard, and within like a week, it was vibrant and alive. And, so the earth is like constantly regenerating, changing. It's infinitely abundant, right? Depending on your climate and your, where you live in the world. But when it snows until it's done snowing. When it rains until it's done raining. When you're in a forest, there's an infinite abundance of trees, and they'll grow and sprout, and flowers will come everywhere. There's weeds everywhere. I mean, I hope that you're getting the energy of the earth as a constantly creative, gifting, and receiving. I'm going to call it entity just for fun, just for now. And so what would it be like to perceive, know, be, and receive the way that the earth perceives, knows, bees, and receives? And knowing that you always have choice, there's always other possibilities. There's always things that can be growing and things that we can water to change. And I mean, I think you guys get it. I'm kind of getting that you guys get it. So anyway, does anyone have, gosh, I talked for a long time. It's almost 5:30. How does it get better? I'm going to promote a few more people to panelists here. Does anyone have any questions or comments about that? If you want to go ahead and put it in the chat, I may have time for one facilitation question with someone. So if you have something, a burning desire, raise your hand and let me know. And we can play and we can see. And if you don't, that's totally cool. How does it get better? Oh, still got some people who joined us at the last minute. Awesome. Oh, I see a question. Yay. Let's see. Somebody raised their hand. Okay, honey, I'm going to unmute you. Hi. Give us your name. And I'm going to lower your hand. Give us your name and tell us your question. And let's see what we can do in the next few minutes. Oh, I think you're, oh, we can't get your audio. There, oh, I hear you. There you go. Hi.
Do you hear me?
Yes. Where are you from?
Okay. I am in Paris. So.
How does it get there? Patty. Oh, I love foie gras. Anyway, go on.
my question is, I know that there are a lot of possibilities because I have listened to all of the access things, but I don't see these possibilities in my life.
In your life? What else is possible? Done. No, just kidding. What is it? Is there anything specifically? Like, you know, I don't see possibilities in my life. That's a huge, you know, is there something specifically that you're desiring to create or be or have that we could play with right now?
I want to change jobs, but I don't even, I don't know clearly what I want to do. So I just stay at my actual job, doing nothing. I just ask questions and make some queryings, but
so okay. So what you said, I want to change my job, but I don't know what I want to do. Right? Cool. So, and this actually is also for everyone. You guys, to get the energy of what you desire your life to be. And okay, so we're going to play with this for a minute. You ready? Okay. So what is the energy of the life that you desire to have and create and be? What are some of the things that you would like? And I'm talking energy, right? And I'll give you a few examples if maybe you're like, I don't know what she's saying. For me, I desire ease. I want things to be easy. I don't want to struggle. I don't want things to be hard. One of the energies of my life is to create ease in my life. I like to have fun. No matter what I'm doing, it has to be fun. It has to bring a smile. Like, notice my energy as I am just perceiving the energy of the life that I would like to have. This is what is light and expansive for me. Easy, fun. I want to be surrounded by caring, nurturing, creative, amazing people. I want to constantly be playing in the energy of chaos and creation. I want to constantly be creating. So what are some of the things or some of the energies that you would like to have in your life? And if you still have no clue, I want to invite you to play with this question, right? In the next week or the next few days, or as long as it takes, to play with this question and look around the world, right? And look at people and be like, and oh man, whatever that energy is, if it turns your body on and if it makes you happy and if it brings a smile to your face, oh man, I'd like to have some of that. What is that? What is that, right? And then once you get the energy of the life that you would like to create and have, then it's a matter of, when possibilities show up or opportunities, when possibilities show up, do they match the energy of the life that you would like to have? When you look at changing jobs, for example, and let's say that you're, searching for different jobs or trying to find other places of employment, when you get the energy of that, does it match the energy of the life that you would like to have? Does that make sense? Anne?
Yes.
Or Marie? I don't know why it says Anne, but okay. So do you have any questions about that?
In fact, I'm not doing things to find a new job. I don't send CV, things like that. I don't know. I'm waiting something to.
You're waiting? Is that what you said? Anywhere and everywhere, anyone is waiting to choose or to create everything that is. Can we destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong?
Yes.
Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. That's the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. If you're not familiar with it, go to theclearingstatement.com, because I don't have time to go over it right now. But anyway, don't wait. You have to create. Your point of view creates your reality. You create your reality. So what do you desire your reality to be? And you can start with gathering the energies of what you would like. Do you want things to be fun? Do you want things to be easy? And in Access, you guys, we talk a lot about how money follows joy. Not the other way around. So if you're trying to find things because you need to make money, but there's no joy in it, then there may be, something going on there. But again, get the energy of what you would like your life to be like. Put that energy in a little energy ball, right? And pull energy. Actually, you can either do the energy ball thing. I personally, and I learned, I personally love to just have that energy near me and near my body, and perceiving that energy and then pulling energy from all over, everywhere, the entire planet, the entire universe, and asking, okay, universe, show me what the possibilities are. What else is possible here that I haven't imagined? But in my interesting point of view, you kind of have to get the energy of the life that you would like to have and be, so that you can create that. If you're kind of creating from this space of like, I don't know what I want and I don't know what I want to do, then guess what's going to keep being created? Is that helpful?
Yes.
Do you have any other questions?
Yes, thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. It's okay.
My pleasure. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and, can you go ahead and mute yourself again, honey? If you haven't already. So thank you so much for that question. And this is, you guys, this is a tool that you can use in so many different areas. You can use it to create, because I've got some questions here in the chat. Well, some people who want to know about like relationships and all that. So you can actually use that sort of, get the energy of what you would like it to be and pull energy towards that and really get that. You can use that to create anything that you desire in your life, whether it's a car or a relationship or a place to live. Like with this sort of thing that I was talking about with where I was living before, I had started asking for a place to live that could be really nurturing for my body and really relaxing for my body. And I realized when I moved into this new apartment, I went out of town, and when I came back, my body just relaxed. And I was like, oh, yes, this is what I've been asking for. So I asked, because buddy, where would you like to live? What would you like? And I got, I want to see trees. I want to be close to like a lot of restaurants so I can get yummy food. I want my body to be relaxed at home, not like tense and stuck in a room. I want to have that sense of just joy and freedom and peace and having my own space, and I had started asking for that. And then also, I'm going to tell you one more story before we go, just so you can get how you can use this energy ball, pulling energy to apply to any area of your life. I did the same thing with with a vehicle. I didn't have a car, but I really required a car since I was moving out and all that. And I always thought that I wanted like a little mini SUV so I could zip around town in my little, I don't know, CRV or well, this is global, so I'm not going to go into the brands, but I thought I wanted like a little mini SUV. And I started asking my body what she would like to drive around in. And at the time I was using Uber, so I got to drive around in a lot of different cars. And I got into this Lexus that came to pick me up, and my body was like, oh, this one. And I was like, really? You want like a kind of luxury? Okay. I kind of thought those were like a waste of money, and why would you spend that much money on a car, and all these really silly, interesting points of views. But my body was so relaxed and so comfortable. And then I started pulling energy towards the vehicle that my body would like to have. And I ended up creating a friend who had an extra BMW that they were going to let me borrow for a little while. So I created driving around, in a luxurious car that I didn't even have to pay for. So that was pretty awesome. So my lovelies, what energy, space, and consciousness can you and your bodies be to perceive, know, be, and receive the energy of anything that you desire to create? And anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it? Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. I would write that one down and play it a few more times. What energy, space, and consciousness can me and my body be to perceive, know, be, and receive the energy of everything that I desire to create with total ease? And anything that doesn't allow that, destroy it and create it. Right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. I may have changed it a little bit, but that's okay. Because it's really in following the energy that we are truly going to be able to create beyond our limited mind. And looping back to, is this choice going to create my future, or is this choice going to decay my future? Please take a look at where you are in your life today and start asking those questions. And if you get that it's decaying your future, ask another question. Wow, what's it going to take to change this? What else is possible here that I haven't imagined? And what energy, space, and consciousness can you and your body be to perceive, know, be, and receive all of the infinite possibilities with total ease? And anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy it and create it? Yes, right, wrong, good, bad, POC, POD, all nine shorts, boys, and beyond. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining me. I have my own space now. Consciousness is Sexy is alive and well. I hope to see you here every week. I may play with the time and date. I don't know, but I'll keep you posted. If you grab the link from somewhere and you'd like to stay involved, you can register at consciousness.sexy and stay informed with all the times and dates and changes and topics and anything else that comes up. Anyway, have an amazing, amazing day wherever you are in the world. Thank you so much for being here. I adore you. I will see you all next week. Bye! Bye, everyone! I'm waving like at the chat, thinking that you guys can see me in the chat. Anyway, I'll see you later.